Equity Bank just launched their 2022 Sustainability Report. I'm going to be sitting down with the MD and CEO, James Mwangi, to understand about their sustainability agenda and, of course, how the bank is faring. Let's take a look at his profile. Dr. James Mwangi is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Equity Group Holdings PLC. James holds 6 honorary doctorate degrees in recognition of his positive impact on the Kenyan society. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree and is a certified public accountant. He has been honored thrice with National Presidential Awards, the First Class Chief of the Order of the Burning Spear, the Moran of the Burning Spear, and Head of State Commendation. On the global front, he has won several awards including G8 Global Vision Award 2007. He was named among the top 50 emerging market business leaders and the 20 most influential people in Africa in 2011. The World Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young in 2012 and Forbes Africa Person of the Year in 2012, and was recently named in the Bloomberg 50 list of people who defined 2019 globally. He's an honoree of the 2020 Oslo Business for Peace Award, also described as a Nobel Prize for Business. On the regional front, James was also recognized as the Africa Investor Awards CEO of the Year 2009 and 2015, Innovation Leader of the Year in 2012, Africa Business Leader of the Year in 2013, and African Banker of the Year in 2010, 2011, and 2017 at the African Banker Awards. He was also named the Banker of the Year during the Banker Africa East Africa Awards in 2017 and 2018 and named African CEO of the Year by the African Business Leadership 2020 Awards. Locally, he has received the Think Business CEO of the Year award for the last 5 years. James has served on several boards and advisory roles and currently serves on several international bodies. Dr. James Mwangi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And of course, I must start with a congratulations message to you for your successful launch of this sustainability report. My curious question is this: what informs this as Equity Bank? Why are you so keen on ensuring that your sustainability agenda is at the core of your function?
Thank you very much. It is true, sustainability is the center of Equity's strategy.
Yeah.
And it's because we know that current generation are holding the world in trust for future generation.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to then focus on sustainability so that we get what we want out of the world, meet our needs without jeopardizing the future generation from meeting their needs.
Absolutely.
That's how we see sustainability. So we see as the basis of creating intergenerational transitions and having a future. Truly, sustainability guarantees the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm keen to ask, I know I'm going to have a copy for myself to go and read through, and I know there are many things you could highlight that are there, but maybe one important one or two that is key for you in the sustainability report.
I think there are 3 big ones.
Yes.
The first one is on the governance structures.
Okay.
The framework that enables Equity to do things the right way. It's not just what, it's how you do it. And that has really helped us to comply with all regulations, to comply with the procedures. The second aspect of it is the social impact. Because while we talk about climate and all that, if you leave people behind, then they will not have the motivation or inspiration to conserve the environment. So we bring people at the center of it, and we focus on education, the Wings to Fly, the Equity Leadership Program. We focus on health, the Equity Afya. We focus on farmers and micro and small enterprises, the financial literacy, the credit access to them. And then the third bucket is about environment. And that is where we are very big in looking at resetting our energy uses. Because the climate change has been driven by pollution and emissions. So we are really then focusing, how do we change the energy uses and convert most households to clean, sustainable energy, convert schools energy, and essentially, lastly, get households to transit from fossil woods to clean energy.
In fact, what you've said is very true, that we cannot prepare really the future for the people. We can prepare the young people and even the people for the future. Let me start with, of course, your recent results. Speaking about 2022, which you have released your report as well, you have also recorded impressive results for that year. And of course, even Q1, I heard you speak boldly about some of the initiatives and things that you have done. But first, talking about the results, year on, keeping the growth curve up and going? What are some of the key drivers? I'm keen to ask that so that at least even your competitors may borrow a thing or two.
I think the biggest driver of Equity's performance is our people-centeredness. Equity is focused on people. It is focused on consumer protection. It's focused on inclusion, ensuring nobody is left behind. It's focused on helping clients to mitigate and adapt to new environments, and that really explains the performance of Equity. One, from the growth in number of customers, because that's the biggest measure of response from the people. The quality of their own book, because you help them to mitigate non-performing loans, and you capacitate them to do better business. And lastly, is because we provide solutions that the community needs. It's market-driven solutions.
Okay. You have been very bold and really bullish in terms of looking through the African market. And I have seen you at the AFCTA forums really driving agendas towards the Congo. And in fact, I have a quote for you that I quoted. And you said this, that in 2027, you see even the DRC market surpassing the Kenyan market. I don't know, what are the key learnings and what are you finding out as you have this regional perspective?
Broadly, the size of a business is determined by the size of the market. So by embracing the East African community, by embracing the African continental free trade area, we're opening larger markets for our customers. And Equity is an aggregator of the customers' businesses. So the larger our customers are, the larger Equity becomes. That is why we are a major champion of African Recovery and Resilient Plan that sees the entire African continent give opportunity to its people in a very resilient, sustainable way. Now, DRC comes to force because it is the most endowed country on earth in terms of natural resources. But its human capital is not as developed as Kenya. So we can partner with the DRC with their resources and our human capital and work together to really exploit those natural resources to solve some of the world's biggest problems, like food security. DRC has 82 million acres of arable land. That is 1.5 times the size of Kenya. Just arable land. And Kenyans are very good, hard-working farmers. So we could really partner with DRC. They have the land, we have the know-how. Then the second one is minerals. They have 40 to 60% of the strategic green minerals. So we can work together with our skills and our capital, with their minerals, to solve the problem of climate change, like developing car batteries in DRC and moving to electrical appliances using copper. So essentially there is quite a lot we can do and give Kenyans a huge opportunity for growth.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the developments locally that have been seen, especially through the central bank. And one of it has been the risk-based pricing that recently got introduced. And you're one of the pioneers banks that received this particular model. What does this mean for your customer and how is this panning out?
In 2016, interest capping was adopted in Kenya at the sovereign risk rate at 13%. The government at the moment is borrowing up to 17%. Yet interest rates had been capped at 13%. So everybody was giving the money to government because it's risk-free and the rest. What it did is that it crowded out the private sector, it crowded out the individual. So we really lobbied to have risk-based credit so that everybody can get access to finance. When you really price everybody at their risk, nobody is excluded. But when you set a interest rate, then you exclude anybody whose risk is higher than that interest rate. And that's what has happened in Kenya. And we defranchised. If you look at credit to GDP, before interest capping was at 42%, it's now down to 26%. We could not give Kenyans credit. We are now back, and we have seen it starting ticking up. We are now at 28 in just the last 7 months.
Wow. And let me veer off to innovations and, of course, matters to do with digitization. And you're on record saying that you have seen a growth, 23.3% last you spoke about in your announcement in May. Is this a behavioral change you're observing? Because constantly people look like they're moving towards that. What are your learnings?
What we have learned is that Kenyans are very adaptive. We must acknowledge that COVID acted as a tailwind to adoption of digital solutions.
Yeah.
But Equity was ahead of the curve. We had implemented the systems.
Yeah.
So as a result, we now have 98% of all